So when you sort of take a glimpse at your current situation, just the three, four things that you're involved in, uh, would you say 15 years ago or 20 years ago that 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 Rob was looking forward and saying, that's what I'm going to try and do. That's what I'm sort of looking for. Or how did you kind of get here?
I was spending some time driving the other day, and I was pondering not only where I'm at, but where I want to go.
Hmm.
And I was thinking about, okay, I've got this goal and that goal, and I want to get here and I want to get there. How do I get there? What's my plan? What are my
Hmm.
action steps and all these kinds of things? And then I was challenged internally to think about, well, where am I? Where am I right now?
Yeah.
And how did I get here? And I felt very strongly convicted that I didn't get me here.
Mm.
I did things along the way, but it was the hand of God in my life. Some might call it divine providence that brought me from where I was, changed me from who I was into who I am, and brought me to this place.
Hmm.
So why should I think it would be anything different to take me to where I'm going next?
Mm. Yeah, that's good. So where, you don't have to get specific, but where would that next be, or what is it that you kind of look to think, uh, here's what I'd like to see. Here's some changes I'd like to either kind of incorporate into what you're already doing, or make
Mm.
pivots. Anything you're comfortable saying.
If you look around the business community, even right here in Marshall,
Hmm.
there is a tremendous amount of exiting going on. I wouldn't call it succession going on.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just people are aging out, checking out
Mm.
for whatever reason, whether it's a trade or a business. People are leaving the workforce,
Hmm.
and it's kind of a generational thing that creates a huge void of no one doing certain things.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of opportunity there, but it also creates an awareness that I'll be there at some point.
Sure.
10 to 15 years, where would I
Hmm.
be? I would be getting a discount at Perkins.
It's good. Yeah. So, I mean, as a guy who obviously has had to uh, evaluate a fair number of opportunities that come across your path, and either say yes to them or say no to them, how do you look at, something? I mean, obviously, if you end up in a situation like you're in, where you have, kind of four different things that you prioritize professionally, how is it that you evaluate a potential decision to know that this is the right thing I should incorporate? You're sacrificing other areas that aren't
Hmm.
going to get as much now, or that you couldn't, maybe do other things that might come the very next day as an opportunity because you're saying yes to this today. How do you think through those decisions?
Could you maybe narrow that down into a specific category?
Yes, I can. And while I do that, I'm going to pour you a cup of coffee. So, like, when thinking of, I want to take on being a chaplain of the Ballatin Fire Department,
Hmm.
um, that is not anything that's inherently Grace Life related,
No,
inherently Relco related, or
no.
SiteCal. There's crossover, there's familiar faces and people and all that, and it's not as if it's, you know 80 hours a week that you're taking on, but it's
No.
also not nothing. So something like that, what would compel you to say, I feel like that's the right thing. I feel like I'm going to actually commit and say that this is a thing I'm going to incorporate now.
The way that came about was uh, through a related incident. Encountered a a car accident in the area. And those guys from the department, men and women, were the ones that responded.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of going through the trauma of that for myself, I wasn't in the accident. I didn't do much when I got there. I just had a deep appreciation for who they are and the role they provide. And my father-in-law, who had served as a chaplain for some other organizations, brought up the notion of, hey, maybe they could use a chaplain within their department. And it was a way to somewhat give back, but more than giving back, it was a way to engage as a part of that community service down there. Personally, I have some family ties that go back to the Ballatin area from when I was born, actually. My family lived just outside of town, and my mother ran a beauty parlor in downtown Ballatin.
I didn't know that.
Old ties going way back.
Cool. Yeah, that is a good way to look at it. It's like you observed this really critical operation that you had some respect and admiration for, and felt like there were certain maybe it's weird to call them skills, maybe it's disciplines.
No, you could actually cut in right there and play the Liam
Yes.
quote.
Right?
I have a particular set of skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That you felt like you could bring in and minister to these people that see a lot, serve a lot, go through a lot, and maybe always don't prioritize their own spiritual health, mental health, and kind of be a way of supporting that structure.
Yep. The chaplaincy is really all about helping the individual firefighter or ambulance crew member stay in that role as long as they can. Because there's all kinds of things they're experiencing every call that weigh on them. And at some point, it's too much.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with those things?
Yeah.
You can't carry them. So try to talk them through, evaluate what happened, and ultimately not carry those burdens day after day after day.
Sure.